It's total technology fail morning this morning. What I want to talk about, I guess, is a starting point. And a lot of people will tell you how to set goals. They'll tell you how to create a formula to get somewhere. But that actually doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where your end point is if you don't know where your starting point is. So when you talk about a starting point, you've got to know where you are exactly right now. And I'm talking health-wise. So how do you feel? How do you look? What would you like to improve? Financially, where are you financially? What would you like to improve there? And where are you? Do you have a lot of debt? I know a lot of people are drowning in debt, and some are even using some debt to fund other things. So it's just a constant circle. And if you're in that circle, then you've got to do something to get out of it. You've got to take action, you've got to take steps to move away from using debt as a financial tool of survival. And your health, well, you've just got to take steps, don't you? You've just got to get those shoes on and get moving. So go ahead and do that. Get your shoes on, start your walk. And look, we're going to talk about a starting point for health first, I think. What you need to know is where you are right now. So if you're overweight or you're unhealthy, you're ill, you're injured in some way, please be careful. Work to your abilities. Don't work to somebody else. Don't look at some fitness video and go out and try and repeat that, because you're only going to get hurt or injured further. So you've got to start from where you're able to start. I remember a TV show years ago where they got people who were overweight, and it was a competition to see who could lose the most weight. Okay, that sounds fairly good, but they'd get these people to start running straight away. No. I don't go for running, really. I'll run for a bus. I'll run if I have to. But I don't go for a run. I don't go for a jog. It's so easy to damage knees, to damage hips, and damage spines through the forces generated by the impacts on the pavement of your feet, and it just jolts all the way up through. If you're carrying more weight, then those impacts on your joints actually increase, and they increase exponentially too. So the heavier you are, the more force is going to be generated. It directly relates to weight. So you want to reduce the forces. Get a bicycle, go for a bike ride, go for a swim, jump in a swimming pool, do some gentle movements, do some exercises. Just move your body, that's easy. Go for a walk is a good start, and we'll expand on it as we go. So just to begin, just get moving. The idea behind getting moving is the body has two systems. So you've got your fuel system and you've got your exhaust system. Modern life is toxic. It is very toxic for us. We sit down too much and we're too immobile. You spend a big day at work, you're sitting in the office all day at work, stressed out, drinking coffee. Then you go home and you sit on the couch and you think that's relaxing. You think that's going to be good for you. It actually is probably compounding the problems and making things worse for you. Even though it does feel nice just to sit and stop and do nothing. But the fact is that we've got these two systems, the fuel and the exhaust. The fuel system is your oxygenation of your body. We have a good little pump for that, and the pump works just by itself. We don't have to do anything about it. We've just got to look after it with the right food and the right fluids, so plenty of water. But we've got this little pump that pumps all the oxygen around, but then all the toxicity, all the toxins that each individual cell creates its own toxicity and rubbish that it has to get rid of. And the only way to get rid of that is through movement. So the body has to move to make all these little pumps and all these little tubes push out all the toxins so that we then flush them out. So get moving. Pretty simple. Stretching the muscles. I'll take you through some stretches coming up soon. And stretching is fantastic for opening, lengthening the muscles, opening the flows. Essentially, we are just a big bag of tubes. So you sit all day, you do nothing, the tubes all get compressed. You drink coffee, the tubes get compressed. You eat the wrong foods, the tubes gets clogged. So you want to open up all these little tubes. You want to make everything flow nice and easily, because we are fluid beings. We're mostly water. We're mostly fluids. So just consider that and work with it. And these things have to take us through our entire lives. So treat it well, and it will take you throughout your life quite nicely. Sometimes people get lucky, sometimes people just get unlucky. But, you know, generally, you should be able to be all right with your body. I was hoping for a nice sunrise this morning, but it's been a bit flat, so, meh. Oh well, that's all right. So get the body moving. That is a big thing. Doing the right thing by it. And then we're going to talk about stresses as well. So you've got your work stress. There's not much I can do about that, but what you can do is perhaps find good ways to cope and work with it. Now, in saying that, I had a really bad day yesterday. I had to deal with a lot of issues at my work. And when I came across somebody who was belligerent, who was arrogant and ignorant and very unhelpful, I blew my stack. I lost my stack. So we all have our bad moments. We all have our bad times, but we've got to try and make our way through it and do the right thing for us, and, you know, treat our bodies, treat our minds right. So something I do to try and bring myself back to a center is to just stop. You've got to be able to step back from any situation and look at it objectively. See what the blocks are. The universe, or whatever you want to call it, puts up blocks. If something's not meant to be happening, or something isn't happening in the right order, you're going to get little signals. So you need to be able to just read these signals, and when you start seeing them come through, you'll be able to recognize them and then use those signals to help your direction and move forwards in a positive direction. So something I do, I have trouble with driving. Years ago I had a big car accident, and I have PTSD from that car accident. So if somebody tailgates me, I do get a bit angry, because I think, well, you know, why endanger my life? Why risk my safety? Especially when I fought for 7.5 years with an insurance company afterwards. You know, it really hurt. It hurt a lot. So I carry that forward, and that's something I have to work on, and I have been working on it. I've been getting a whole lot better, which has been fantastic. But PTSD is real. It comes up in lots of different little situations. So we're going to work with anxiety as well, and how to bring anxiety back and center yourself. Something I've noticed with these meditation groups and some of the mindfulness groups is the word Om or Om, and some people pronounce it one way, some people pronounce it another, but I like to bring it back to home. So there's no place like home, right? So what you do is, because we're vibrational beings, we're mostly fluids, we are based on vibrations, electromagnetic fields, all sorts of things. Something you can do is just a quick little exercise, just to center yourself, is say the word home and bring it in really nice and deep into your chest. So I just like to say home, and let the vibration, you start it in your chest and you can actually take it right back through your head. If you do that, say 5 times, just experiment with it and see how the vibration works in your chest and your head and your neck, and see where you can find that effect. Actually a great way just to calm down and slow down a bit. So I do that in the car. Nobody's watching, nobody can see you, so it's easy, but it's a nice way just to bring back the center. It takes only a few seconds. And yeah, it's just a good, quick way to calm down. So you just take yourself home, and there's no place like home. So picking a direction, you've got to know where you are, you've got to know where you're going, and you've got to know how to get there, really. So you've got to create a bit of a plan, and you've got to create a bit of an understanding on how to find your way to your goals. Now, years ago, I was flying out of Dallas. I was with a person in the co-pilot seat, and I trusted him to do the navigating for me. So I wasn't monitoring him. I actually believed in his abilities, let him navigate, and he made a fundamental mistake that I didn't pick up. And this fundamental mistake took us from Dallas, instead of to our destination, it took us in a nice little curve, nice gentle curve right around 100 miles out of our way. And it was nighttime, so it was very difficult to try and pick anything from the ground. But I wasn't watching what he was doing. He was navigating for me, so I gave him the control. So be very careful who you give control of your life and your navigation. If you do share your life and your life's path, work with that person and monitor to make sure you're both on the same path. If you're letting somebody else navigate for you, you're going to end up at the wrong airport. You're going to end up in the wrong spot. And yes, you're getting somewhere, but you're getting to the wrong place. So I guess the lesson in that is to be aware of what's going on, have little checks and measures, have checks and balances to make sure that you're going in the right direction at the right pace, whether that's with your health, with your finances, with dealing with anxiety, dealing with people, and just making sure you're on the right path for you to make sure that you're going to your destination. So starting where you're starting, that's just something you're going to have to sit down and figure out. You're going to have to figure out your motivation. You're going to have to figure out your financial position. Now, we will go through a budget. That'll be probably my next video, because that's a great way to start. Just understanding currently where your money is going. And once you start to get control of all of these little stress points, then you can start reducing the effect of the smoke and the mirrors, the clouds in your system, and you can clear everything up and make sure that your skies are clear and you're able to get to your destination easier. So it's just a little matter of just going through a few exercises, but we'll get there. So thank you for this morning. I will see you again soon.